I'm Queen ShanShan, and this is a broadcast podcast.
Hello, brides. Hey, girl. Hey, it's your girl, Queen ShanShan. And this episode, you're listening to this episode while I am actually traveling. I am in, I believe when this episode airs, I'll be either in Egypt or Turkey. So I hope I'm having an amazing time. I hope that I'm meeting maybe my future trip boyfriend on that trip. I don't know. My next trick.
There's plenty to choose from.
But we wanted to pre-record the show because we didn't want to have a lull in the season, and so we're going to introduce Mike in a minute. How are you doing, Edward?
I'm good. I'm fresh.
You're fresh?
Feels like we just started a new show, which we did, didn't we?
We just did, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into it with Mike Bryant. But I want to say thank you all of you broads who have been tuning in all of season 3. We have been having great accolades, great ratings, great trending, and we are just here for it. So thank you so much for listening. In a moment, we're going to introduce Mike Bryant, but after this important message from our sponsors.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Queen ShanShan, I actually want Jack Frost to be nipping at my nose while I'm roasting my chestnuts on an open fire outdoors. So that means I need a chimney and an outdoor pit. Do you know anybody that can do that for me?
Happy holidays, Hunty, Edward. Yes. And you know what? You're going to contact RB Paving and Landscape Design at 760-947-4191 for a free quote. Or you can also contact them online at Beltran Paving and Landscape Design. Hunty and happy holidays. Today we have my dear friend Mike Bryant. Now I guess I shouldn't use the word small town because he's not from a small town. He's from the 7th largest town in the United States because Edward had to correct me on that.
I sure did. You can't be calling
San Antonio
no small town, girl. I'm from a small town.
So, Mike, how are you?
I'm good.
Mike Bryant.
What's going on, Shannon?
How are you?
I'm here. I'm wonderful.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Now
in the second largest city from the 7.
Hey,
I honestly had no idea.
You're moving on up.
Yeah. Keep straight on the mic. You know the mic, Mr. Mike.
Sorry.
I'm very excited. We're going to spill some Weho tea.
Let's do it.
We're going to spill some Mike Bryant tea.
Good Lord.
I know, right?
Oh.
Hold on to your panties. Mike, I met you through mutual friends because I love to play poker.
Yeah.
And I know Victor, who was on the show, and Jay also, who hasn't been on the show, but he's a mutual friend. And we met at Michelle's famous poker parties here in Los Angeles.
Michelle's Casino.
Is it like
in Brentwood.
Yeah, you named it. You put it on Facebook. You tagged it Michelle's what?
Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
Oh, wow. Is it like Molly's Game or something like that? Did you see that movie, Molly's Game?
No, I have to
Oh
see
my
that.
God.
No, we pay for money, so I don't know.
Okay.
If that's,
And we were playing for real money.
Michelle's Game?
Yeah, Michelle's game.
Right,
but
yeah.
Mike made it a tag like it looked like a real establishment, like a casino and spa.
Oh, it sounds fun.
But it was just us getting
It is,
together
actually.
with the boys playing poker. At that time, we used to play almost every other month.
We are playing a lot. Like
We
once
played a
month
lot,
at least, yeah.
but life gets in the way, and it's hard for us to all get together like we used to, huh?
That's true.
So we
We will.
need to call Mike and say, Mike or Michelle,
Michelle.
let's
Get your game on.
Let's get our game on.
Yeah.
Well, he likes to take our money. So
Yeah,
honestly,
and Michelle cheats. He's a big old cheater at poker.
Oh, Michelle.
Michelle, yeah.
Michelle.
Michelle.
As in
our
Ma's
sponsor,
Italian Kitchen?
Ma's
That's it,
Italian
yeah.
Kitchen.
Oh my gosh, we're going to play an extra commercial for you tonight.
Absolutely.
Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle, for being a sponsor, and thank you, Michelle, for introducing us to Mike.
Be a poker.
Mike, we again became immediate friends because I think you're absolutely hilarious. You have a very sharp wit about you.
Thank you.
And you're a smart ass. What did you say? If it wasn't
for a smart ass, I'd have no ass at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, it's true.
You're a skinny mini anyway.
Well,
you weigh 98 pounds wet.
Not true. It's 150, but
sounds like a Tanya Tucker song to me.
That's right. Dating it, huh?
Mm-hmm. You just dated yourself again.
Just have a new album come out. Come on.
Tanya Tucker has a new song?
Yes, and it's amazing.
Is it really?
Album, not just song, girl.
Oh my
album.
goodness. I didn't know she was still singing.
You know she was alive.
Yeah, she was resurrected.
So, why did you move to Los Angeles? We're just going to get into it. Why did you move to Los Angeles from Texas, the 7th largest city, San Antonio? And what did your family support you when you moved out here?
So, first of all, I did not know at the time I was living in San Antonio that it was the 7th largest city, but I had no, a lot of people grow up, especially in quote unquote small towns of the South, dreaming of that. I can't wait to get out and move. I'm going to go. I truly had never thought about leaving Texas ever my entire life. But my best friend who I grew up with, we were living together, and I came home from work one day and he's like, I'm kind of tired of living here. Let's move. And I said, yeah, okay, where? And he said, Los Angeles. I go, cool, let's do it. And so I had a really good job at the time, corporate job. And
what did you do?
What? Yeah.
I was running it was a family entertainment center, like indoor laser tag and like a Discovery Zone, but different.
Oh, got it. Mm-hmm.
And they were huge in the South, and there was a location here in Fullerton, which is not really Los Angeles, but
Can you say the name of it?
Laser Quest. I don't think they're around anymore, so therefore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I said, yeah, let's do it. And surprisingly, everyone supported us. My parents, his parents, our friends, everybody was like, yeah, it's a good idea. It's a great idea. So
how many brothers, sisters do you have?
2 brothers.
2 brothers. Yeah. And so it's a boy. It's a family of boys.
Yeah.
And they
My
did
mom's
their
the only female.
They did their thing, and then they stayed in Texas.
They did.
Okay, so you're the only one in the family the immediate family that ventured out to a whole new horizon.
That's true.
The reason why we're talking about this is because a lot of people who venture to Los Angeles, period, want to attach themselves to that Hollywood dream. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, they don't get that dream.
They don't.
When you came here to Los Angeles and you got that job, you had a job which you were able to carry over.
I did. I almost didn't, though, because initially there wasn't a space for me. So I was just coming out here literally with the money we had saved. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it wasn't until like a week before we left that they were like, oh, by the way, if you want to keep working, then yeah, we can. So that fate stepped in. When we were about to leave, I literally neither one of us had a job. So.
You didn't have a job at all?
No.
Okay, so you came out here jobless.
Initially, but a week before. So we'd planned this for an entire year. Up until the week before we left, I was going to have no job. So it just so happened that right before I left, one of the other managers out here left. And so they were like, if you want, you could stay with us. So I was like, cool.
Okay.
Done.
Got it. Okay, so you came out here and you lived in Fullerton?
Did not.
Where did you live?
Funny story. So I had no idea. We didn't know anything about, because back then, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm not young. There was no internet, so we had to do everything over apartment guides, the old school ones.
Right.
Yes.
So we had no clue.
God. Apartment guides.
And we ended up getting an apartment that was in Compton, but we didn't know at the time that that's where it was. So we drove all this way. We had everything we owned in the back of my truck, and we
2 white boys living in Compton?
Well, he's Panamanian, but yeah, close enough. We got to the apartment complex, and I'm not joking. It looked like, people on the stoop drinking 40s, and it was scary. And we both said that there was gunshots the first night that we could hear in the background, and we was like, there's no way that we can live here. But we had already signed a lease. We had already paid the money. And so the next day we went down to the office, and we literally made up a story about we were students at UCLA. We had no idea that it was so far away. And the girl
you
says,
signed a year lease?
We had signed a year lease. And the landlord says, she says, look, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to live here.
Really? She let you out of it?
She let us out of the lease, but the problem became then we had money and all of our belongings and nowhere to live on a Saturday. So we literally drove around all day long and finally found a place in Hollywood that was that would take us right away.
That took you right away, like the next day?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a challenge.
Did you spend the night in a hotel, though?
No. We literally got out, moved out, It was on a Saturday. We left Saturday morning. We drove around and we found a place on Orange and Hollywood Boulevard. It was
No way.
furnished.
So you came out
wow.
from Texas in a car all the way to California.
Correct. In a truck.
Wow. In a truck with
my
all
truck,
of your
yeah.
personal belongings.
Yeah, and a fish tank and everything that was still had
Sweet.
fish in it.
With a
was,
dream.
Still
Well, at
had
the time,
fish in it.
Yeah. No real. It did still have fish in it. Funny story about that, too. Fucking fish. It wasn't my idea to bring them. My roommate was extraordinarily attached to those fish.
Oh,
and
wow.
trying to keep fish alive in a truck across
Yeah.
on that drive
Texas
from
to
Texas.
2 day drive.
2 day
basically.
drive, yeah. And then getting here and moving into an apartment and then finally getting enough money to get cable installed. And the cable guy came out, and while he was putting the cable in, he knocked the fish tank over and it broke.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Killed the fish.
Killed the fish.
Oh, was your roommate devastated?
He was.
He was
When we heard
devastated.
it crash, it was like, oh, you gotta be kidding.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
love that story.
Awful.
So that's how our adventure started out. He had no job. We had no fish. I had a job that was literally an hour away that I did. Because they were like, yeah, we have a Los Angeles location. I said, oh, cool. Not knowing that Fullerton is nowhere
Is
near Los
another-
Angeles.
Right.
And so
it's
we're
like
living.
3 area codes away.
Yeah. So literally.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
didn't know anything about traffic. I mean, there wasn't.
Oh.
I did a little bit, but
This is mid-90s?
it was the late 90s, 97.
90s? Okay.
So I had a Thomas guide, and that's it. That's all I had.
Love that.
Okay, for those who do not know
Sorry,
what a Thomas
yeah.
Guide is,
Mm-hmm.
it used to be a book that had the map of everywhere you wanted to go,
Everywhere, yeah.
and it was a thick 1,000-page, or
Huge.
it wasn't even 1,000 pages.
It wasn't that big,
It
but
wasn't
it was
that big.
big.
It was a big guide that would, this is obviously before GPS.
It was a detail of an
Before
atlas,
Google Maps.
which was the predecessor
My
to
dad-
the Thomas Guide.
That was
Right.
his Bible, because my dad was an insurance agent, and a Thomas Guide he would have 4 Thomas Guides in his car, from LA to
Those-
Orange County.
You can spot a salesperson by their
By how
Thomas
many
Guides
Thomas Guides they
in
had.
their car.
Before I had GPS, I had my Thomas Guide too, honey.
All I had to
but
know were what
those
your
Thomas
coordinates
Guides were
were.
expensive
Tell
too.
me where,
Give me the coordinates.
Give me your coordinates and I'll find you. Your G47, I'll be there. Give me a second. Let me flip
good
through.
old
It was
days.
effective,
The
but
good old days of Thomas
yeah.
Guide.
So I didn't really know what I was going to do when I moved out here. I mean, neither one of us did.
Yeah.
So it was we just
So
sort of
reality came that you lived in Los Angeles and you had to
Yeah.
go to Fullerton. How long did that job last?
Well, so as you know, a commute is a very important part of what you do out here. It lasted, well, I had already been with the company for like 4 years at that time. I was in high school when I started, but out here I was only here for another 9 months before I quit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do after?
Well, so this gets into the whole club thing. I mean, I had a great corporate job, and I started teaching myself how to do lighting for, just being the light guy. And
At the clubs?
Well, yeah, because I started. So when I found West Hollywood, I started hanging out at Access. It was a club studio. It was Love Lounge Studio One, and it became Access. Started hanging out there and became friends with the guy that was doing lighting, and I was intrigued by it, and so sort of watched him, and a position opened up at Rage, and so at the time Michelle was managing Rage.
Oh,
So that's
is that
how
how
I
you
met
became friends
Michelle.
with Michelle?
Yeah. And so I gave up my corporate, making really good money job to take a $75 a shift lighting gig. But
$75 a shift.
back then, yeah. And that's what I did.
That's what you did. Real quick fun fact about West Hollywood. I want to put this in. The history of West Hollywood West Hollywood basically was founded in 1984 as the 84th city in Los Angeles County. And did you know that gambling was legal in Los Angeles County, but not Los Angeles City? So back in the day, Bugsy Siegel, like the gangsters, Mickey Cohen, they were regulars at the strip nightclubs on Sunset. So like the Comedy Store today, which used to be called Ciro's, and the Melody Room, which is now the Viper Room. So these are two huge, very historic buildings that was based in West Hollywood. But we're going to expand on the history of West Hollywood in the Wiglet of the Week, because I really enjoyed doing research, because we want to talk about the West Hollywood dreams. So let's get into why you wanted to expose West Hollywood for what it is. A lot of people who move out here have expectations of being discovered, West Hollywood is known as the gay mecca, LGBTQ mecca, for a reason. We'll talk about that in the Wiglet of the Week. But there's also misconceptions of moving here to Los Angeles, especially West Hollywood. And if you are in the LGBT community, we want to kind of, I don't want to use the word expose, but I want to be very truthful to when people come out here. I'm so used to West Hollywood. I've been coming to, I live in Los Angeles for the last 22 years. I'm a California native, so I already knew about the whole West Hollywood scene. But what's really behind it, Mike, that you wanted to talk about?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's nothing negative. Right? It's anywhere you're going to go. I did not know a thing about West Hollywood, mind you, when I moved here. Because at the time that I moved here, I wasn't out of the closet. So I was still very much in the closet when I moved.
Really?
From
So
Texas.
your friend that you moved out with, the guy, your roommate, you guys weren't boyfriends?
No.
You just were good friends. Was he
Best
straight or
friends.
is he gay?
He's straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't know. Did you not ever tell him? Oh, at that time? Did he not know you were gay?
He may have had a suspicion maybe in high school, but it was never discussed. And then, once I moved out here is when I sort of, came to that realization. So that's how I discovered West Hollywood. Because I wanted a place to go hang out, and there was a radio ad.
Did you feel safe in the city?
I did. In
Why?
West Hollywood, I did.
Why?
Well, because back then it was 100% gay. It's not like it is today.
So different today.
And so there was a place, because again, coming from San Antonio, even though I was quote unquote straight, exploring the gay scene in San Antonio literally consisted of 2 bars on one tiny corner. That's it. And so you didn't have the safety. There was none of that. You went in, you were inside of a dark club, and you didn't really come out of it. So West Hollywood to me was like awe-inspiring. I couldn't believe it. Never been to a club that size of those clubs and had no idea that anything like that existed. So for me, that was a game changer for me. And so when I say the dream, I see a lot of young, cute boys who come out here with, I think, what they think is supposed to be West Hollywood, because they've been home and they are not accepted at home, or maybe they don't feel comfortable at home, and so they come out here thinking that West Hollywood's going to fix all of their closeted, sheltered, unaccepted issues, and it can, but it can also backfire on you.
What could discuss or expand on the backfire?
So, look, it's a pattern. I mean, anybody that's worked in the club scene for as long as I have and other friends of ours have, you can see it. You can see the boy that just got here from Omaha who has
wide-eyed,
bushy-tailed, wants to believe
literally bushy-tailed
that the world exactly those bushy tails. I think I've seen that on Grindr. Bushy-tailed from Omaha. And they come out here, and I was the same way. Look, I fell right into it, and you come out here, you meet somebody, that person is, gonna love you forever, and then you realize that as inclusive as the gay scene is, it's also extraordinarily judgmental. And so you have to meet what the rest of the gay world thinks you should be. And it was easier back when I moved here because there was no social media. There was nothing that you had to look at and say, wow, that person's got those abs, that look, that hair, and that's what's being accepted. That's what I need to look like. So you're trapped in this cycle of, I wasn't accepted for who I was at home, and now I've moved here to a place that I want to be accepted in. And in order for me to feel accepted, I have to look, act, speak, eat, behave, listen to, all of these things that the gay world, or at least the West Hollywood gay world, is telling you should.
So while you were experiencing your first gig at Rage, which is a really famous, well-known club to this day in WeHo.
My very, very first gig was actually at Studio One, which became
Studio One, that's what you said, Access.
Access.
Where is that located?
It's what became the factory. Yeah, so it used to be Studio One, then it became
right across from the Abbey.
Exactly.
That big giant warehouse thing. Oh yeah, I lost a few brain cells in there, I think.
Yeah. I lost a few brain cells in there.
Did you?
It's been around for them.
But it's been so many other things, though.
Right.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the diversification of how West Hollywood is now. So it's so different. Which it's fine. It's fine because I think it's obviously more accepting, and that means more people are accepting of the LGBTQ lifestyle. But as a young boy, did you saw LA period, not just West LA, but LA period in movies and TV, books, magazines. Did you think moving or living in that Hollywood scene was going to happen to you?
No. I mean, it's not like I ever said, wow, I want that. And you have to also understand, too, that the only real movie references that I had at that time, and again, I don't mean to age myself, but were bad sort of the gang movies, like Colors and Don't Be a Menace to South Central, those kind of movies, which negatively depicted all the things that could happen to you. So I honestly moved here with the impression that if I got anywhere near Crenshaw Boulevard, I would be carjacked and killed, because that's what you saw.
That
I mean,
was
it
my-
That is
literally
so
is what you
interesting.
saw.
So you're again
And I honestly got
from San Antonio. You thought being in Compton or what?
any
or,
of that,
You
because
know,
that's
South
all.
LA or South
If
Central
you're
LA.
white and in
Yeah.
those parts, you're dead.
And I honestly got lost one day coming home and ended up on Crenshaw Boulevard and almost had a panic attack, because all I knew about that, it was famous in the movies for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong
You know what I
reasons,
mean? So
yeah.
that side of it. And then the other side of it was Hollywood and Pretty Woman. So I thought I'd see a hooker on every corner and Richard Gere with a mouse. And, I thought that was going to happen.
Because that's true. There is
Right.
always a hooker in a red dress waiting for a
Well, and at the
multimillionaire
time,
to sit
Hollywood
to.
had not been
Picked him
revamped,
up.
though. At the time that I moved here, Hollywood and Highland didn't exist. It still was kind of run down.
Oh, really? Was
Yeah,
it?
it was pretty run down. That whole thing didn't come about until like late 98, 99.
You're
when
right.
it sort of
you're
started
right.
to.
Oh my God, I totally should know that, because back in the day I was in commercial real estate and we worked on the Hollywood Highland project
Right.
before.
So
and that was
prior to the Dolby
1998.
Theater or any of that kind of stuff, it
Yeah,
was
you're
kind of
right.
run
It
down.
was
And you
seedy.
could have maybe
It was a little seedy.
Right. You could have maybe seen a Pretty Woman-ish kind of girl. So those were my only real references of Los Angeles,
Right.
which is why West Hollywood was so awe-inspiring to me, because I had no idea. And then you had Beverly Hills, but I knew that wasn't a real, you know what I mean? Like everything you see about Beverly Hills in the TVs and movies, I was like, okay, that's TV movie.
So, unlike some people who, again, come here with the dream, you came in here with the dream, of course, to Los Angeles, West Hollywood, but you also self-taught. Let's go back to saying you back to learning. You learned yourself.
I learned it myself. I
You
did.
taught yourself about sound editing.
I taught myself how to DJ.
Okay.
Yeah, at first, because
First.
again, here I was in a club, right? And I had some experience in San Antonio where I would go to clubs and thought, this is insane. Like, everybody's reacting to what this one person's doing. Like, how do you do that? And I had no clue. I truly had no idea that there was even somebody in a booth playing music. I just knew that everybody was having a good time. And back then, and it still is to this day, but certainly back then, music was, there was a gay sound that you couldn't hear this music on the radio. You couldn't hear it, couldn't really even buy it in the store, but everyone seemed to know it. And there was a sense of control that person had. And I thought, that's crazy.
Did you like that?
I did.
That you were doing that? That you wanted to do that?
I did, but I had no idea how it worked. I had no clue. I didn't know if...
There was no Google to go
No,
to.
none. I didn't know if... I just thought that the music was there. You'd go up there and the clubs would give you the music and you play it. No clue at all. And then when I moved out here and started going to Access and heard who became a good friend of mine and a mentor, but at the time I didn't know her, Donna Montel.
Yeah, Donna Montel.
So she was actually on Groove Radio, which was a radio station back in the day that was independently owned, but it was a dance station. And I was driving home from work one day, and she was on, and I was like, this is awesome. She was broadcasting from Access, and so I went, and I just sort of started hanging out, and I would get the music. I would find out what music was being played and write it down, and then go try to find it at a record store, and saved up some money to buy myself 2 little turntables, and just practiced and would go home and literally write down, this song goes with this song, and at this time I need to go to this song.
Did you know music and rhythm and how things match up?
It's funny enough that you say that, because in middle school and then again in high school, I wanted to be in band. And I tried out for every possible instrument, and the band teacher said to me, the only thing you'll be able to play is the tuba, because you have zero rhythm. You're not able to keep a beat. You can't, you're just
really?
not, you have no rhythm. And yet being a DJ requires you to have incredible
Right.
rhythm and able to.
Yeah.
So
Understand.
Yeah.
I always thought, so if
He
Mr.
was
Friedman,
wrong,
if
or she
you're
was
alive
wrong.
still, sir, listen to me on Come See Me, because I always thought he was closeted anyway. So F you, Mr. Friedman. Thank you.
Texas.
Just want to say that. So anyhow, so I just taught myself, and I sort of started hanging out. I was that guy that would never leave the club, and
You'd be there 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning.
and I would
5
be
o'clock
helping
in the
them with
morning.
anything. You need me to help you with that? You want me to help you take down some decorations? or
You
put some-
volunteered your time.
Yeah, I
without
would
even
want it
being
because I
paid?
wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And eventually, there was another DJ who's not even around anymore. His name was Paul E. And he had a huge night. And he kind of took me under his wing
Nice.
and gave me insight. So I just practiced, and then I got my very first, what I would say is a big gig. It wasn't. It was for, well, actually, no, it was. It was for LA Gay Pride. But
That's a big gig, dude.
Okay, but it was a big gig, but they gave me from like 9 a.m. to 9:30 in the morning, like on Saturday. But I was like, fuck yeah, dude, this is the shit.
It's a start.
It's a
9
start.
o'clock to 9:30 in the
morning, right
Good God.
before anybody was really coming out. So I only knew, this is not even a joke, I only knew how to mix 7 songs. I had only ever taught myself how to play 7 songs, and that was it. So I had my little set lined up. It was 7 songs, and I had all my notes. At this time, you're going to mix here, and at this time. But not thinking that the DJ that was going to come on after me could potentially be late or stuck in traffic
That's right.
or whatever.
You need 9 for that. Or
Right.
10.
And here I am on my 7th and final song, and he's not here.
Shoot.
Oh, no.
And I'm freaking out because I had no, back then it would take me literally the entire song playing to mix the next one, because that's how much I had to think and do. And so I just started my set over.
Did
And
people notice?
they did, yeah. So the guy that actually hired me was like, "What are you doing? I thought you were a DJ." And it was really, it started as a great experience. It was really awful for me. And it really forced me to sort of take myself back a bit and really dive into it. And so I did. I just doubled down and literally would buy music 2-3 times a week and just started playing and would play constantly and take any gig I could get. I was at one point playing for $40 a night at Trunks, but I thought I had arrived. I was like, $40 a night at Trunks on a Wednesday? Sign me up.
You've arrived.
I was, they were like, you see that pool table right there? Just move on behind that.
And that's
set
what
up.
they would pay you $40, and you obviously would get tips.
Yeah, I would get tips and whatever and a couple of drinks, but to me, that was like a terrific learning experience. Trunks, Motherlode, those 2 places is really where I was able to teach myself without,
Can you just go into that technical side of that real quick? Because I'm fascinated by... Because I just thought you just start the record spinning
too.
and like it starts.
And you just spin and you just
Yeah, you
like
have
mix
to-
a song.
yeah.
And
You have to
Can
be
you-
able to
Sounds good.
figure out what beat per minute the song is you're currently playing,
Uh-huh.
and whether or not the one that you're going to be playing is going to get into that, and then you have to physically adjust the speed of that song to match the speed of whatever song you're playing.
Okay.
And on top of that, some other DJs don't do it, but I did. Most of the professional ones do. You have to keep it in key. So I would sit there and I would literally write on the records, because back then it was records. I would write plus 2% pitch, and then I would write F sharp or F, minor or
this
something.
again, you self-taught yourself to do this.
I self-taught
no
myself
one
how to-
trained you
No one, yeah.
to know what pitch was about. What
Well, I
F-sharp
knew a
was
little
about.
bit because I was in choir.
Oh, that's right, because you were in
in
band.
high school. Well,
Yeah.
no, not band.
No?
Because I didn't
Band
want to play the
director
tuba.
said, remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
They said no to the tuba, and I was like, well, then I'll go sing over here tenor and
No
watch
to the
me
tuba.
knock out Phantom of the Opera, which I did, in solo and ensemble. But I know how to I know how to read music. I knew how to read music a little bit. If I had to
Super
now,
helpful
I don't think-
then.
Yeah.
Super helpful
So
with
I
music.
understood key. And I just knew that sometimes I would hear a song and I would be like, yeah, that went together rhythmically, but it doesn't sound.
Doesn't match.
It just doesn't match. It sounds weird. And so I would literally write the key down and the pitch. When the
Wow.
pitch is the speed of that song. And then so,
A lot of people don't realize that when you're a DJ, it's not just about putting on a song. You
No.
have to really know the music behind it.
You do.
To make it sound good in a mix. And not only that, you got to make sure the crowd is happy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because again, you're now in West Hollywood. You're working for the big gigs. You're now into a career that you're making money later in the years, correct?
Later on in years. In the beginning, it was tough.
It was tough
I admit.
because you had to get a following, correct?
I had to get a following, and I also had to do well. And at the time, yes, I was working at Rage, and Rage was considered at that moment the biggest.
At that time.
At the time. They had huge followings. Their DJs were great, and I would beg the manager, the owner, Saeed, all the time, let me play. Just give me one shot. Just give me one shot. And so he finally said, fine, I'll give you a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, because you have to drive the crowd.
Right. But he
Okay.
actually said to me, if you fuck it up, I will never give you another shot in this club as a DJ. Because then he was super, that was their baby.
Stress.
And it was a train wreck. When I tell you train wreck,
No, tell us.
it was awful. I couldn't mix my way out of a paper bag.
Did you lose your records?
Everything I thought I had
Did
taught
you play
myself.
Milli Vanilli? Like,
It
what
wasn't
happened?
no, it actually wasn't the songs I was playing. It was the fact that I just couldn't mix them. I got into that booth and I froze, and I couldn't. Everything I thought I could do in my bedroom, and I was so confident doing it trunks and Motherload at the time, I just froze. To the point that they had to call another DJ in to come in and take over for me because
You
it
were
was
so nervous and so scared.
so nervous and so scared, and I just was devastated. I went out in the back and I had one of those Tu Wong Fu little Latin boy in dress crying moments where I was like, that's it. I'm done.
Oh, wow.
I will never
You going
do
back
this
to
again.
Texas?
I'm going to go back to
I'm
lights.
going to give it all back. Yeah, I'm going to go back to lights where I could do whatever I want. No one's going to say anything to me. Another harsh critic of mine in the beginning was Michelle, who was like, no one wants to hear what you're playing. Literally, he said that to me one
He
day.
said that?
But, it was his job to keep, when you're managing a club, your job is to keep that energy going. And then I was playing what I was comfortable with.
Well, wait a minute. What was that then?
It was
Don't
early-
you have to do like something mainstream to like get the crowd
Yes.
going?
Well-
or were you going to indie on the music?
I was going
or to
indie
house?
because the other DJs that I were mentoring, the people that I looked up to, who are all amazing DJs, were like, it's about teaching. It's about teaching the crowd what they think, what they should be listening to, not what they want to be listening to. And it wasn't until later on when I started working with Sandy at the factory, who really gave me my biggest breaks. I mean, literally believed enough in me to say, you're talented. I'm going to put you on stage with some of the biggest DJs that you can be. But she was the first one to say, I'm here to make money. This is, I want my sound and my club to be this way. And you reading the dance floor became second nature, and it is still huge for me to this day. I might be listening and I may be looking like I'm not necessarily paying attention to you, but I can tell you if somebody walks off the dance floor. And immediately...
And that already creates you to do a left turn or right turn.
Sometimes. It doesn't
create
always.
the vibe
There
of
are
the
some
room.
times when you have to say, okay, you know what, do I really want to just screech and halt and change it because I see that 2 or 3 girls just walked off the dance floor? Or is it, and some DJs are super quick to get out of
Right.
whatever song they're playing.
In the LGBTQ scene, a lot of the community loves EDM. They love electronica. They love fast-paced boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't listen to that for 4 or 5 hours. Like maybe 2, 3 songs.
Right.
But I want to hear something current I hear on the radio.
Current or flashbacks, listen, no
Or
one...
flashbacks.
People, here's the deal. When you're going to a mainstream club, and when I say mainstream, I'm meaning you're out from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. People
Right.
just want to know what they know without having to think
I want
about
to go
if they know it.
I want to go to a club knowing I could shake my ass. It's going to be amazing music, and
Right.
usually I do want more flashbacks than what is current right now.
And that's
because
really a hot trend right now.
It is.
Huge trend.
Because I
It's
don't think the
flashbacks.
new music's danceable. I might just be
Some of
old.
it is, some of it isn't. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different downbeat or something.
It is.
Rap
is.
and R&B is definitely, well, not really R&B. Rap and hip hop today is so different. It's not as groovable, it's not as danceable as it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, it's a really funny thing you mentioned that, because when I was working in West Hollywood in the beginning, okay, rap or hip hop or R&B was not played. It was not
all.
allowed to be played.
Why?
It just wasn't. It was understood that you didn't play that. You didn't play Donna Summer,
always
and
electronica.
it was just understood.
Hold up. You couldn't play Donna Summer.
At the time, you couldn't. And here's why. There was a misconstrued quote that she said negatively about people who were HIV positive, and the gay community just said,
did she say?
literally, if you were playing Hot Stuff, people would boo you, and it
Hot
wasn't
Stuff?
anything from her. I Feel Love. It was like, how
MacArthur
dare you?
Park.
How dare you play Donna Summer? It wasn't until an article came out, and I don't even remember when it was, and everything sort of was cleared up, that it became okay again to start playing her. But, there was you believe it, there's a politics of dancing. There's certain
There
things
is.
you just don't play, and some DJs
Interesting.
will take it to an extreme. I mean, I'm not on the Michael Jackson banning bandwagon. I don't believe we should. I think there's 2 sides to every story, so
That's a thing.
that is a thing. There are DJs that
people
will
don't
refuse
wanna
to
play
play
Michael
him.
Jackson?
However, I will not play R. Kelly. But that's my
that
personal
should be a
choice.
thing.
That's, yeah.
That's a personal choice.
I'll agree with that.
So,
yeah.
Judgy.
but
Yeah.
unfortunately, there are rules that you don't know about. And so flash forward to me having actually been DJing for a couple of years and feeling good about myself. I was doing Long Beach Gay Pride. And I was in a good slot. I was on a Sunday slot, and it was from like 11 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. So
you were doing
decent
one of the
slot.
tea parties?
Huh?
You were doing one of the tea parties?
Well, I was doing the dance tent.
You got the brunch crowd.
Dance tent.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was playing my normal house music, you know, all the fun things where black screaming woman telling you, stand up, you know, put your hands up, put your hands down, don't worry about that man, he ain't gonna do nothing for you. And I was playing all that stuff. And,
I can shake my ass as long as I want
Right.
to. You don't have
Right.
to worry about me tonight. All
basically,
that.
that's all the things, you know, yeah, be free, you, love me, all that shit. And I was like, this is
You
what
got done
this
wrong.
is what the gay sound is. It's like, right? But no one, I could not get anyone on the dance floor. And I was like, what the fuck? This is Ultra Naute. Why are you on the dance floor? You know, everybody's free. And no one would get on the dance
I know
floor.
that song.
Yeah. So I was like, what? This is kind of an ego blow. I know I'm better than this. Anyhow, so I got done. And the girl that came on after me, her name was Jessica. She's a good friend to this day and a great DJ. She's a hip-hop DJ.
Okay.
And she was playing in Long Beach at this place called Executive Suites. She came on. The first song that she played after me was Mary J. Blige. It was Real Love.
Okay.
That dance floor was
Real Love.
packed.
Really?
Yeah. And that wasn't even a new Mary J. Blige song
That's
at the
an
time.
old school.
Do you guys have to sync up your playlist so you don't all like
No,
play the
I
same
ended
stuff?
cold and thank you, goodbye. And she
Okay.
started cold. And as I was packing my stuff up, she started in on her hip hop and R&B. She did Mary J. Blige, and then she went into Jay-Z and that kind of stuff. And I literally had been packing my stuff, and I look up, and it's packed.
Yep.
And I was like, wait a minute here. Because everyone had told me the gay community won't embrace hip-hop and R&B. It's not their thing.
So
They're not going to
untrue.
like it. So
So
I went back
untrue.
to Rage, and I said to Saeed, you've got to let me do a hip-hop night. And he goes, absolutely not. I don't want rap in my building. I go, not rap. You got to let me do hip-hop.
Difference.
And he goes, no, I don't think so. I said, listen, no one's coming here on Tuesday night. Just give me the shot to do it on Tuesday night. And he said, fine, I'll give you 4 weeks. You can do hip-hop and R&B on 4 weeks, but I do not want any rap. And I said, I'm not going to play anything in here that's not on the radio. If you can't hear it on the radio. Because at that time, that's when, Jay-Z and Beyonce were sort of starting to come up, and Little Kim was hot, and Missy Elliott was coming about, and people were listening to it. And people would say the gay community does not like that. And I'm like, you're wrong. They like it.
Speaking of on the radio and Donna Summer, right? Isn't
Exactly.
that her? On the radio.
Mm-hmm.
That is her. Correct.
Yeah.
And Selena did a cover of that.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Rest in peace, Mama.
Yes, love her.
And so anyhow, so I did it. First week wasn't that great. Second week, that's when Janet Jackson had come out with the All For You album, and I did a release party with her record company, and we were packed.
Whoa.
Packed.
And all of a sudden, Saeed was like, maybe this is going to work. And it went on to become not only the very first hip-hop and R&B night in West Hollywood, but the most successful.
Get it, Mike.
To the point that we actually had Salt and Pepper and Spinderella do the 1-year anniversary.
Get
Oh,
it.
So,
Look what
yeah.
you created.
And so that was all because I stood by my ground. I was like, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. The gay community doesn't always want to hear. Not that music wasn't great, because I love house music. I'm a house guy from the beginning, but you got to think outside the box.
You have to think outside
You
the
have
box.
to think outside
because
the box.
me and my friends, when we would go to West Hollywood when we were younger, one of the things that we didn't like, we love, obviously, our Sunday fun days during the day.
Of course.
Go to the Abbey. We get a little
The gay
tipsy.
community invented Sunday, you know.
Oh, hell yeah, the gay community.
God said I want
invented
off, and we
Sunday
said no,
fun days.
dear.
Of
No
course
queen.
they did.
No queen.
Nope.
We would go out and have a good time, and then the electronica, the house
Mm-hmm.
music would come in, and we're like, snore. I'm at the
Right.
for 4 hours is so irritating to me.
Exactly.
Every song sounds the same. But if they drop some Madonna, or they drop
Mm-hmm.
some Janet Jackson, they drop some Prince, they drop something R&B,
Mm-hmm.
hip hop, we would be back on that stage dancing around.
And there's go-tos. I mean, look, I have go-tos in my crate. If you want, back then it used to be a crate. Now it's just a
Now it's like
USB
a
that's
file.
right.
folder.
Great.
But there were go-tos that I knew I could rely on. If the dance floor, if I was losing the dance floor, or I went in a direction that the crowd wasn't feeling, I knew these songs I could go to, and I'd immediately get it back. Madonna was always in that folder. Whitney Houston was always in that folder. Britney Spears was always in that folder. Those were ones I knew. Okay, look, if I have to. In fact, Victor, who's one of my best friends, used to joke with me about that. He's like, at Whitney Houston, I want to dance with somebody is your saving song. So I can always tell when you're losing it because you go into that song, and there's some truth to that.
Because that song is one of the greatest of all time.
You can always, it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, questioning, bilingual, bisexual, you'll get on the dance floor for that.
Right.
Same thing with Robin S. Show Me Love. For some reason, it's sent heart gets and promises. You will see straight boys running like, oh, sorry, what's up, dude? Yeah, I know this song. You know, it's one of those songs that you
It's
will
one of those
always
songs
get.
that everybody can resonate.
Yeah.
So after all of your great accomplishments, you became one of the top sought after DJs in West Hollywood.
I did.
And that is a huge accolade because you were busy. You are now working full time, and you're working every day.
I was. And so at a point, though, when I, so at the time, if you want to fast forward to that, I had gone on to become a manager for the Factory, which was a huge club, but was also DJing on average 21 to 22 days a month.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
You
were managing the Factory and you were doing DJing?
I was, yeah.
How'd you do that?
Well, because I was DJing for Factory. So that was a big part of it. Sandy was so instrumental in my career and helping me get to the next level. At the time, I was doing Factory, and I was doing Chicago. I was doing New Orleans.
Let's talk about the travels. Have you know, again, you're making a name for yourself, DJ Mike Bryant. DJ Mike Bryant. Got to go to listen to DJ Mike Bryant.
Yeah.
You're now getting people from other clubs outside the States wanting you to gig for them.
Correct.
Where have you been?
New York, Chicago, San Francisco. I went back home and did a San Antonio gig at the first gay bar that I ever started
they called you? Or
I called them,
okay.
yeah. I did on Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, Las Vegas.
I'm
When
sure
I
there's more
first
than
met
two gay bars there now, right?
I think there's 3. Well, 3 in a questionable taco truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not on the not on the Riverwalk.
None on the Riverwalk.
None on the Riverwalk.
You're such a dork. A questionable taco
Depends
truck.
on the night and the time. Get a quesadilla and quite possibly a
Hilarious.
Oh,
blowjob.
And taco could mean other
It
meanings.
absolutely can. It's an emoji that can be used very dirty.
Have you been called internationally to work other gigs
So I
in other
haven't.
countries?
Yeah, I haven't.
Because
And
you've
that's
just
one
been
thing
a
I've always
nationally
wanted.
known DJ, which is fine. But you were serving thousands of people. When I first met you, Mike, I remember meeting you, and I hardly saw you because you were always going to Vegas. You were always going to New Orleans because you had a huge gig over there that was a regular gig. Like you were in New Orleans every other
7 years.
for almost every other week.
Yeah.
You're on the plane.
I was on the plane, yeah.
You were flying to special gigs. You said you went to Georgia as well.
No, not Georgia.
Okay, what other? Oh, New York.
New
I'm sorry.
York, yeah.
I confused New
So
York.
I
and
built a
Georgia.
huge following. I did build a really big following with the lesbian community, which was
Oh.
interesting because they weren't very accepting of boy DJs in the beginning. And so I did a lot of lesbian geared
You
events.
sure did. You were always called in Palm Springs
in
and
Palm Springs. That's another city I had forgotten about.
yeah.
And then the after hour circuit scene.
Oh wow.
What's the after hours?
So that's when you're was doing a lot of the 3 a.m. to
your ecstasy is still going and you
these
need
were
somewhere else
ecstasy
to go.
nights.
yeah
These were G-Love nights, huh?
yeah.
What is your favorite city to DJ in?
Honestly, my favorite city is Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, I've had some of my best experiences playing in Vegas. It's
Thousands
just,
and thousands of people.
and the energy is great because those people truly are there to have a good time. So they're not necessarily judging every single song you're playing. They just want to have that experience, that
The vibe.
that vibe, that experience, and that experience is really they're there for you. They really are.
Like Jessica from Omaha is there on her bachelorette party.
They are.
and
She's
is
doing the
ready to
woo
get her
with her
thing
tiara.
going. Yeah.
And oh my God.
Yes. They're ready to rage.
Is it? Can I dance up here with you? And I'm like, do you see anybody else dancing with me up here? So the answer is no.
No.
Which one of you is Brittany? Because one of them's named Brittany. Right?
Someone's Brittany,
But if you were
Brittany
just
Which one of
Lynn.
you is
Maybe.
Ashley?
Someone's
And so, what do you
Tammy
mean,
Lynn.
Ashley, how did you know me?
There's always a Heather.
There's a Heather and
always,
Ashley.
always a Heather. There's
Yeah.
a Christy, and there is a
Jessica?
Jessica for sure.
Yeah. And they've all, we know each other. Oh my God, she's getting married.
Can you put the song on, please?
She absolutely loves that song by Brittany.
Or some Beyonce, right? They love
Or Beyonce.
The white girls
Yeah.
love them with Beyonce as well.
And that's evolved though, because now you get that a whole lot more.
a whole lot
I
more.
mean, a whole lot more. in the gay world of West Hollywood that you never used to get before.
Speaking of that, let's go back and talk about the change that West Hollywood is going through now. It is so diverse and so mixed, which is wonderful, and I applaud it because we've seen the Abbey start as, everyone knows what the Abbey is. It started as a little tiny coffee shop years ago, and now the Abbey is this huge corporation, this huge mega club that's in West Hollywood that houses so many people, so many gigs, and it's so big that it turned into another club called
Chapel, but that was
Chapel.
next door.
Yeah. You worked there so many times.
Since the beginning.
Since
honestly.
the very beginning.
Well,
Mike.
since they first...
Since it was probably a coffee shop almost, huh? It was still... It was after when they made
like
other
in 2006 is
Right.
when they sort of started embarking on the DJ side
Right.
of it.
You
And
worked there for a long time.
I did, yeah.
Can you speak on the diverse crowd it's bringing now to the scene?
Well, here's the thing. It is still gay. Don't make any mistakes about it. But what's happened, and it's happened all across West Hollywood, is now that we have sort of... It used to be, if you were straight in West Hollywood, you went to Sunset. If you were gay in West Hollywood, you would come to Santa Monica Boulevard, and that just was unspoken. But over the years, we've become so diverse and accepting, and the straight community has become so welcoming of us. Now those lines are blurred, and there's no need for you to be isolated and feel like you can only go to Santa Monica if you're gay and only go.
Right.
It's really about where I can go to have a good time.
Correct.
And so that's what the Abbey brought. The Abbey brought a good time for everyone.
Correct.
And the rest of West Hollywood started to see that and said, well, let's do what they're doing. And so now all of West Hollywood now has kind of become, I want to go there to have a good time with my gay friends. And so you get a lot of the straight girls, right,
Yep.
who want to come and they want to...
That was me. Or that is me.
I took my very heterosexual brother and his girlfriend, maybe girlfriend at the time, seventh wife. At the time,
Seventh wife?
to
Wait, his seventh wife? Mm-hmm. Your brother's been married 7 times?
that was maybe the sixth wife, and he's working
My Lord.
What?
close
This
to
is, you're spilling some
so
tea.
very straight brother, or maybe not, I don't know, but to the Abbey like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was the best time I've ever had in my life.
With your brother?
I could not believe it.
Yeah,
I
Did he have a
could
good time?
not believe that what I was witnessing. For him to be in a gay club in West Hollywood,
Very
with
conservative.
super conservative.
Can I say Trump?
Oh, for 100%, a Trump
lover?
supporter, gun
Trump
lover,
supporter? Oh, Lord.
racist, you name it. He's
Really?
he's checked that box. Sorry, brother, but you are. But he went, and he had the best time.
And that's the thing. And so that has helped, but it's in some cases it's starting to backfire. Let's be real. I mean,
What's starting to backfire?
Well, there are some people who want to ruin, who don't. Here's the thing.
Spill it.
When I was in New Orleans, and it was Southern Decadence this past time, and Southern Decadence has always been a boy event, and I was sitting there talking to my friend, and they're like, there are so many girls all of a sudden. How do they find out about these parties? And one of my friends says, this girl's like, oh my God, he's so cute. He goes, look, I'm not your prop. I'm not your Instagram prop. I'm not here for you to be like, oh my God, it's my gay friend. He was like, it's cool that you're here, but leave us alone, is what he was saying, basically. You're more than welcome to buy us a drink, but just be chill. Don't, And so...
you're my friend.
Yeah, and when he said, I'm not your Instagram prop, I was like, that is hilarious.
That was hilarious.
That's like,
He's like, I'm not
your
here to be like...
Instagram prop.
Right.
that's not inclusion, though.
No,
It's not. And
it's
so
not.
we are, look, the gay community is inclusive and it's a wonderful thing, but then you have people that want to do stupid shit like straight pride, which was
So stupid.
which was so dumb, and that's because they're seeing what we've worked and fought for.
For
Right.
years.
Listen, it wasn't like we were just like, hey, we want to be sheltered. It was because we had to be sheltered. I mean,
Right.
and so now the whole, the world, you have kids coming out of the closet when they're like 12 and 13 years old. That would have never been me. Even if I knew I was gay in Texas growing up in the 90s, there's no way I would have come out of the closet. So it used to be that you kind of had to grow your wings in West Hollywood. You know what I mean? You would go there to learn how to be gay if you wanted to be gay, right?
That's right.
And now you don't need to do that. You don't need to go hang out in a gay bar and understand what it's all about and
Thank
figure
God.
out how to...
It's all on your screen.
It's all on your screen, and a lot of it now you've become accepted at such an early age. I didn't come out of the closet till I moved here, and I was 22 years old before I decided to officially make it official. And you have kids now, so by the time they get to the club going age, it's not new to them. They don't need to come and be in West Hollywood to feel included because they've already made themselves included. And so that's really a huge change as well, because you used to really need to. That's how you met gay friends. That's how you met a community.
That was the way we socialized.
Whether and a lot of us, myself included, never went to clubs. We didn't know anything about bars, but that's where you would go to meet. And it wasn't necessarily meeting a trick, although I met a lot of them.
Right.
It was about meeting friends. It was about meeting. I met Victor at a club. I met my circle of friends who are still my friends to this day. 22 years ago in clubs, and that's how you learned. You sort of had people teach you the ways, and people who were already out of the closet, and people who could give you some insight on what it meant to be gay and out and young. And now you don't have to do that.
Well, coming to full circle to close this segment, what is it that you want? Every segment I want to always have my guest express jewels that they can share with the audience that's listening to this podcast.
Jewels? I don't wear any jewelry, honey. I sparkle from
what
the
about
inside.
Gems?
I sparkle from the inside out. I love Jim. Right.
Gems
Jim's
are much
great,
better.
isn't he great?
The cartoon, girl.
I remember. Oh, Jim and the holograms.
Yes, girl. Jim and the holograms.
You just aged us.
I really did, but
You
listen, at
and
this
Edward.
point,
I'm
it is
still the oldest at the table, so I went.
Jim and the holograms.
Jim. Yeah, she had a cute song and everything.
Oh, those are the good days.
Yeah. What do you want me to expose?
I want
Jewel
you to
or sparkle?
well, you already exposed West Hollywood in your perspective, because it's not all glitz and glamour.
It's not. But you know what? Listen, I don't think anything is. I think it's all in how you just have to know.
There
yourself.
has to be some reality. I was actually talking to I was in Norwalk or Downey today, with one of my clients. I know I was in your neck of the woods.
Downey?
Yeah. And
A lot of gay boys in Downey that you don't know about.
and we were talking about, she got a promotion, and she's like, "Oh, I hated this promotion. I hate coming here, or whatever." And she's been begging for this promotion, and she's like, "It's so true that it's not always greener on the other side."
That's
From
true.
Texas to Los Angeles, you saw this dream, you saw this potential. You wanted to get out of San Antonio. You wanted to come out. You felt that coming to Hollywood was your opportunity.
But subconsciously, I didn't really know it until I got here.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like I said, you know what, I'm going to get on the truck, I'm going to go to LA, and then I'm going to feel
out.
comfortable. I really didn't. When I got here and really got into West Hollywood and was like, now I feel comfortable enough with myself to tell everyone else, even though they knew.
What can you tell the young folks who are listening to this podcast around the country who think that LA's going to save them?
I think you have to be saved within yourself first.
Preach.
You have to know that you're coming here because you want to add something to what's already being done, not because you want the scene, whatever that scene is, to save you. So if you're at home and you're unhappy there, then there's a good chance you're going to be unhappy here. So you got to figure it out first for yourself, and then come out here balls going, blazing glory, saying, "Look, I'm here, and I'm going to add to what's already great about West Hollywood." Not, I want West Hollywood to save me and accept me and make me feel the love and the acceptance that maybe I wasn't feeling at home.
So, cut to today, present time.
Yeah.
You now have a steady gig as a general manager.
I
Can we
do.
name the restaurant?
Sure. Yeah, it's Bar Louie.
You're working for Bar Louie, which is a very top-end social type of entertainment restaurant now, right? And it has dancing there as well in the evenings.
It does but that was something I brought in. So
You brought in again. You're becoming a pioneer in the entertainment field, which is awesome. A lot of people don't know that. You don't. What I like about you, Mike, is that you don't wear a shirt that says, "Look at my accomplishments."
Right.
We know
I'm
your
super humble,
accomplishments.
almost to the point of people being like, "Why are you so down on yourself?" I just have.
Please don't be down on yourself,
Yeah.
because you have a lot to share. You did a lot. You self-taught yourself these things.
did, yeah.
Just like when someone teaches himself how to play the piano or guitar or write a book. That is huge. To me, that's amazing talent. So I have to say congratulations and
Thank you.
applaud you. And now you're back to working for a corporate company.
Yeah,
a
back
big
to well,
corporate
something's got
company.
to, you got to have
And
a
you're
401k.
a general manager. You're a GM, dude.
GM,
You
yeah.
are the boss. People are saying, "Yes, Mr. Bryant. Yes, Mr. Bryant. What can we do, Mr. Bryant?"
Well, they use my real last name, but yeah, which
I
is
like
not
that.
Bryant, but yes.
Then we got Mike Bryant was your stage name, right?
It is.
That's right.
Yeah. Mhm.
whatever your last, your real last name. Yes, Mike. You have a staff that is coming to you, and you have DJs coming to you, and social people looking up to you. Going back to the jewels, what are you teaching your employees? What if you have a young DJ, aspiring DJ that wants to work at your restaurant? What do you say? I
tell them that, you know what, I'd love to hear you, but you need to understand what it means to work for a crowd and not for yourself. And so as long as you can read a crowd and really understand that there's going to be nights where you don't have anybody on the dance floor, but that doesn't mean you failed. It just means you don't have anybody on the dance floor. So you've got to look at that and say, what did I do? Was I what that crowd wanted? And keep going at it. Good. Just keep going at it. You'll make it if you're about the music. If you're going there because you think it looks cool, then you're not going to succeed. So if you saw a DJ with the headphones and he looked awesome and that's what you want to be, but you don't want to put the work in for it, then you're never going to make it. So. Do
you still DJ once in a while?
Oh, yeah.
If someone in West Hollywood, like
Abby, Mickey's,
Rage,
soon to do
Rocco's.
Call
you'll still do it like on a special gig.
I mean, I'm doing it about once or twice a month. Still.
Oh, you still do? Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just see you as this adult now in this gym. your stature is so different than when I first met you.
The difference is now, though, I'm a little more selective in the sense that, I can.
You can call for that kind of money now because you have this
amazing resume. If I don't need to do 5 nights a week to pay the rent, which back in the day I was like, I don't pay my bills, so I would take any gig. And now I'm taking gigs that I know I'm going to enjoy and put everything into, and the gig is going to get, the crowd will get the same enjoyment that I'm going to get.
Well, I'm here to say thank you so much for being on the show.
So welcome.
We're very proud of you.
And likewise, I'm
sure I've heard your music and danced to your grooves many a time.
Oh,
I hope so.
I know I have.
I'm sure I have, for sure.
He gets a party started. Mike gets a party started.
I can
Trust.
tell.
What?
You know what? Before we leave this segment, I have a little factoid.
What?
A little bit of a throwback like we used to do. Yesterday, Los Angeles celebrated its 237th birthday. So just happy birthday to Los Angeles.
Happy birthday to you.
And there was no party.
Birthday to you.
So we're having it right here at this table. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Los Angeles.
All right.
Good for LA.
Well, we're going to get into some other factoids in a minute, but let's cut to our break.
Oh, I'm in a food coma right now.
I am so stuffed.
Oh, me too.
Ma's Italian Kitchen, you did it again. Edward, what did you have for dinner tonight?
Oh, I had pasta primavera with peas and mushrooms and Alfredo sauce, girl.
Delicious. I had linguine, fresh chopped clams with garlic and pecorino cheese. Ah, it was so good.
Heavenly.
Ma's Italian Kitchen, you did it again. They can be reached at 818-567-2288 or order online at masitaliankitchen.com. Hunty.
Time for dessert.
Mike, you're an avid listener. You're abroad. You're a part of the Broad family, right?
I cannot walk in heels, though, as we found out at Jake's party.
know, broads doesn't mean just women. It's women and men all together. Stop it. Find out, by the way, my base is mostly straight men who listen to the show. Can you believe that?
What?
Can you freaking believe that? Yeah. It's so funny how stats work.
That's awesome.
But thanks, straight men who are listening.
Yeah. Thanks, straight men.
Thanks, straight men. Give a girl a call. Anyways.
Or a boy.
Yeah.
Or a boy.
We are going to be talking about the Madonna Minute. Edward, take it away.
Okay, so you sent me this article. I think it was entitled 9 Things That Madonna Invented That You Didn't Know Madonna Invented. Well, I agreed with a few of them on the list.
Let's give some credit to the author real quick.
Who is the author?
Melissa Mueller from WMagazine.com.
There we go.
She wrote this article a year ago about Madonna.
Miss Mueller. Okay, you had a lot of things on the list that are very popular right now, such as Instagram and makeup and stuff like that. Madonna didn't obviously invent makeup or Instagram, but she elevated those things. Of course, she came out with her luxury line of beauty makeup.
MD&A makeup, skincare.
2 years ago, I guess she came
Yeah,
out with it. No, well, everybody jumped on board and like is up
Everybody,
fancy
and it's high
like,
end.
You know, it's high
super
end.
expensive. Saw it in Hong Kong, by the way, on a display at the Ritz-Carlton, in its own like section, and it was super duper
It was
expensive.
like sparkly.
It was sparkly. I'm like,
yes,
get it, Madonna in Hong Kong. Get it, girl.
Security. But you had one thing on your list that I really liked. It's called Proto Reality TV. And so, you know, for years I've thought Madonna sort of invented reality TV with her documentary Truth or Dare.
Oh.
And so that was my thinking all these years, and seeing it on your list really validated that. It says 1 year before MTV changed the course of TV history with its premiere of The Real World, Madonna released her own version of reality TV, Madonna, Truth or Dare. So it was a documentary that took us on the journey of the making of
It's true.
the Blonde Ambition tour. And she basically recorded her life for an entire year. And that's kind of where the reality TV roots began.
I believe so. You know, one thing that sticks in my mind, that scene when the chiropractor was adjusting her back.
Right.
I will never forget that. That just popped, and the sound and the music that was behind that sound editing segment. And I'm like, oh, Madonna, you're so cool.
Oh, so cool.
You're
Laying
so
on that
cool.
mat, getting your neck popped.
Getting your neck popped.
I want that.
You know, behind the scenes, you know, hashtag BTS.
Right.
But, you know, you saw the backstage of Madonna's life. She had the boobies flowing.
She did.
She had all of her dancers. It was black and white. It was gritty. It was
Gritty.
real.
It's fantastic.
Fucking love Madonna.
I do too. You know what? Since we have a DJ here,
Yes.
let's get his take on something. Let's get his take on like the 9 most popular Madonna songs.
Yeah,
that
Mike,
are
spill the tea.
requested on the dance floor.
Spill the Madonna tea.
Wow, you're putting me on the spot. I had to say the 9 most requested.
Yeah, 9.
Give us 9 most requested Madonna
them.
songs.
They're most requested, but the ones that certainly get the most reactions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Vogue still gets a dance floor.
Boom.
Okay.
Always will still get a
One.
dance floor. Believe it or not, Don't Tell Me, which was
my
from
favorite.
a later album.
Yep,
gets
mine
a
are my
huge dance
favorites.
floor. Material Girl will
Great.
always get one.
Okay.
Lucky Star always gets one.
Or
Borderline.
5.
I was just going to say
get
that.
But then in her later, everything that was on the Confessions, so Hung Up
6.
still
Yep.
gets one. Jump, which
7.
is not as well known, but really always gets
It's an
a
amazing
huge
song.
dance floor reaction.
Devil Wears Prada.
That was Prada. That's
Devil
right.
Wears Prada, yeah. But
Yeah.
that album was incredible.
Incredible.
I mean, believe it or massive. Loved
Yeah.
it. Loved the tour. Loved everything about it. Dress Me Up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, believe
Love
it or not.
Dress Me Up?
Dress Me
Really?
Up will still get one.
Was that
yeah.
1984 that song came out?
Yeah.
1984,
5,
1985?
yeah. 5,
Yeah.
6, yeah.
Ish. Yeah,
So those
ish.
are the top 9
That's-
requested
that's-
songs?
you've got
Not
one
requested,
more.
but the
You've
ones
got
I
one
got
more.
one more to get you through. Now you're really making me think. So,
Is it?
God,
Is
there's-
it?
And I can't think of the name of it.
If you pray your life.
Oh my God! Yeah, how did I forget it? Let's jump. I can't even forget how in the world.
I'm going to say it for you. Like prayer.
Yeah, how did I forget
Like
Like
a
a Prayer?
Prayer.
So actually,
You
made
know
a
Like
mistake.
a
Like
Prayer.
a Prayer has to go back up in like the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
I can't even believe I forgot Like a Prayer.
Because
Yeah,
there's so many.
yeah.
There's so many.
Like literally, I will sit and I'll sample sometimes to get a reaction from the dancer, and I'll just say God, and you can hear people going, "Oh my God, he's about to play it! He's about to play it!"
Oh my God.
You give them a little taste, a
I
little
just go,
teaser.
God. Yeah, God. I'll do it with Vogue.
Does it
too.
for me because
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
like,
do it
oh my
with
God,
Vogue
no, that
too.
song's about to come on, Queen, let's go dance.
All right.
You ready?
I'll do it with Vogue. When
I
are
would
you
be,
looking
me and Edward would be tearing it up.
Tearing it up.
at? Yeah.
Tearing it up
Can't
on the
even-
floor.
it's like a
Yeah.
tornado.
No, I can't even believe Like a Prayer. No, Like a Prayer was not only game changing for everybody, but
Yeah.
For sure.
still 100%. Yeah.
Do you think she is one of the pioneers that have
Absolutely.
helped? Yeah.
She's a total pioneer.
Yeah.
Listen, and anybody that can't give her credit for being a pioneer in so many different facets,
Yeah, I
clearly
believe so,
it
too.
doesn't understand where she came from and what she's done. And now artists today have taken what she's done, made it their own, and
Absolutely.
and
They
grown on it
copied-
and moved on it, and yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Madonna's the queen, honey. Love her. So that is your Madonna Minute.
Queen ShanShan, did you get a new wig?
No.
Did you get a new shirt?
No.
Did you get a new necklace?
No.
Something is different with you.
Well, I just got my teeth whitened and brightened at Exquisite Dentistry here in Los Angeles.
Fabulous.
They do such great work, and I love them because they know that I'm a dental chicken. I'm afraid of needles, and they put me at calm and at ease the minute I arrive in their beautiful, gorgeous spa dental office.
They are simply superb.
Thank you so much. You know what? In Edwood, dear Edwood, you can get the same service too by calling them for an appointment at 323-484-7645 or make an appointment online at exquisitedentistryla.com.
That's bloody brilliant.
And remember, tell them Queen ShanShan sent you. Hunty. So Edward and Mike, you know we have the beauty segment. We talk about, part of this podcast is travel, food, culture, and also beauty. And shame on me, shame on Queen ShanShan for not bringing in more beauty type of segments, because we've been just talking about culture. But we live in LA, and what's the biggest culture in LA? Plastic surgery. Okay, beauty, the outer image. And Mike, when we were talking about our outlines the other day, Mike said, "Have you ever heard of the thread facelift?" And I'm like, "What?" I heard of threading your eyebrows, or threading the hairs on your face, or threading even people threading your legs and your armpits, the hair.
Oh,
very
it was
painful.
like that. The legs is new to me. Never heard that.
Ow, that's painful.
So what is it all about, and is it safe? So a thread facelift is a type of procedure that is where temporary sutures are used to produce a subtle but visible lift in the skin. And this is basically, instead of removing loose facial skin like in surgery at a cosmetic surgeon's office or a facility, this one simply suspends it by stitching up portions of your face, portions of loose skin.
Really?
And Mike told me that you can go and get these procedures within 1 to 2 hours. They call it like a facelift lunch break, because you're not getting cut. They do local anesthesia, and it usually costs between $1,500 to $4,000.
Oh, wow.
Which
a
the
big launch.
Traditional facelift is $10,000 or more.
Right.
Right, and you are spending the night, or it's blood involved, and you're cutting skin. So this has become more of a go after procedure that's happening more in not just LA, but a lot of metropolitan cities.
What's it called?
A thread facelift.
Thread facelift.
Thread facelift. So in the 90s, it was using surgical thread to lift sagging skin. But what happened is, and it was heralded at that time as a kinder, gentler facelift, but scary side effects such as scarring, infection, and obvious lumps were found under the skin. And it made it a bad fit for most women. Now, thanks to technology advances, the technology is easier, it's quicker and less painful, and it's performed again under local anesthesia. The thread lifts take 1 to 2 hours, and the side effects only include temporary soreness, swelling, and bruising, similar to those of injectables like Botox or getting a lip injection or something like that. And even though there's still possibility of nerve damage, it is still the safest. It says it's safest to use as a board. Oh, that's what it says. You need to go. They recommend you go to a board certified cosmetic dermatologist to get this done.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to a sewing party here.
I can't do it at home?
No, you can't do it. Well, you can't do it on your own. You can't do a homemade one.
Okay. I pierced my sister's ear when I was a kid.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. Potato, ice, and a needle.
What? Was it infected?
It's called Small Town, Texas. No, it was perfect.
Is she still pierced because of that?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Mike, what are your thoughts on the thread facelift?
I think it's awesome. I want to. Listen, here's the deal.
You still look okay, the audience can see what you look like right now. You still look like you're 14 years old.
Thank you.
Stop it.
Oh my God. That's awesome. Thank you. Call me. Here's the deal. I think everybody has things about them that they want to probably change. And so, here's something that's it says it's easy to do, and I think I've seen some of the results. So here's the deal: if you can make me, just take a little bit away, let's do it. $1,500. Listen, I might hate it, but it's safe. The sutures that they use now disintegrate over time, so that is the downside.
That's the thing. They
6 to 8
disintegrate.
months later, you probably have to go have it done again.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that is the downside. People are like, it's more affordable, it's less expensive. It is, but it is very temporary. But then you can say, well, so is Botox, right?
That's
Right,
true, too.
true.
Right,
You
so-
got to get Botox done every 6
Yeah, and I
months.
think if you want to feel good about yourself, you don't have to do it for anybody else. But if you want the opportunity to feel better about yourself and you think this is something you want to do, now it's become affordable. And it's safe, and it's...
Let me just put it this way. I'm so glad that I have something called melanin. I don't need to worry about that because black don't crack.
Black, don't
There you
cry.
go, girl.
Black don't crizac.
And no, but
I'm just hoping
But-
it rubs off on me a little bit while I'm here. Every Thursday.
But you
yeah.
never know. I mean, the double chin, I always look at my face and when I look double chin, I'm like, oh, God, I wish my double chin was a little tighter, obviously. When I look at my side profile and pictures, whatever, maybe I might get that done. But, for me, again, anything with the word needles or thread, I stay away. Because I can imagine even needling my skin, even under its local anesthetic, needles are involved. They got to shoot something in my face.
yeah, they're threading you up. It's like you're, they're going to go in and come
Well,
out.
if you do it, please chime in and let us
I'm
know.
going to let you know.
Yeah,
Let us
I love
know
it.
If
how
I
you
do
like
it, I'll let everyone know.
Is there Groupons on it? Are there...
Let's hope not. I don't think that's a good... If there is, I'll get Victor and the
all
boys,
going.
and we'll go do a Groupon sewing party.
I'm due a major tune-up next year, so I might...
Do you might be
consider
down for
something
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some things I don't know that I'd Groupon. That might not be one of them.
Right.
I Groupon spa treatments.
Okay, that's different. Because
Yeah.
you're going to probably come back out alive. And there's not going to be any of this
I hope
facial
I come out
disfiguration.
alive.
There's no Groupons for like hysterectomies or anything like that.
God, no.
No.
I hope not.
Okay.
That would be
I was just
awful.
wondering.
The sugar waxing of the vag
For sugar
tightening.
waxing? Yes, for sugar waxing, there's a Groupon for that. But
I don't even know
think
how I
for
know that. See,
hysterectomies.
you see how ungay I can be, but yet also I know what a sugar wax. I had no
Right, I'm
idea
like, okay.
until one of the straight girls that works with me is like, "Oh, I always get a sugar wax." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Sounds
Why don't you
tasty.
find out what a sugar wax is?
I don't think I need it.
You don't think
pretty
you
sure.
Okay,
I'm
down for
diabetic,
sugar
so
wax.
yeah.
Sugar. And that is your beauty segment for today's
Yeah, and if any of your
podcast.
listeners get it done, send photos. I'd love to see how they look.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good
Post
idea.
away.
Actually, that's if you're on Facebook, follow us on Abroad Productions Facebook. Share us your pictures or Instagram me, and maybe we can see what your before and after picture look
Yeah,
like
that'd be
if
great.
after you've done a face thread lift. So most people don't know what WeHo means, and it's just a simple acronym for West Hollywood. But it can mean many things to many people, WeHo, but it's a very interesting and fun sister city to Los Angeles. What I found out was really interesting about West Hollywood is that it is a young and vibrant community, and Los Angeles period stretches over 300 years. So even though you said we had a birthday of 280,
237.
237, they says that Los Angeles really spans over 300 years, which I can understand because the gold rush gold rush is like 1840s, but there's been other obviously settlers and other people who incorporated this area. But anyways, come to find out, due to its unincorporated status, West Hollywood both existed outside the jurisdiction of the LAPD and lacked a police department of its own. And it was loosely overseen by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, but the region became a hotbed, which is very apropos, of liquor and nightlife. I wonder what it is now. Same thing, right? In the golden age of Hollywood, West Hollywood was considered the swankiest and the most glamorous lifestyle, and everyone wanted to seek West Hollywood if they lived in Los Angeles. And it also gained notoriety in the 60s and 70s because of the music scene. And flocks of punk rockers and hard, heavy metalers would go to the famous bars that are still in production now. Whiskey A Go-Go, the Troubadour. Did you ever play there?
The Roxy.
I played at Whiskey A Go-Go, but it was for an event.
For an event. So, meanwhile, the LGBT community flocked to West Hollywood to escape the persecution that they faced. They faced, just like in other cities, the LGBT community. The reason why Harvey Milk rose to fame is that he fought for Stonewall. The LGBT community in LA had to face discrimination and other hardships from the LAPD and other city departments. So in 1984, a coalition of gay men, Russian Jews, and even the elderly, spurred by the imminent expiration of LA County's rent-controlled Protections successfully held a vote to officially incorporate the area as the city of Weho, West Hollywood. And also it helped protect rent control and measures to protect the longtime citizens. West Hollywood soon developed a reputation as a self-governed gay city. Yes, absolutely. And became a vanguard for progressive legislation, social change, and the LGBT community culture. Did you guys know that there's over 39,000 residents just in West Hollywood alone that are living there?
I did not.
I did, because I was one for
That's right, you sure were.
18 years.
Yeah. The city of West Hollywood is still unparalleled in nightlife, restaurants, shopping, world-renowned events like the HBO Emmy Party, Sir Elton John's annual Oscar party, LA Pride, honey. I have gone to LA Pride in Los Angeles for the last 20 years, and every year it's off the hook. West LA is known for the Halloween Carnival, which is the biggest Halloween party of the year, which touts over 1 million people in the streets. Can you attest to that, Mike?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Biggest party.
Biggest party.
DJ'd it for years and still go down there. It's known around the world, actually.
It's
that
known
Halloween
around the world.
party.
People
Yeah.
will come to West LA for Halloween all day long to party. It's a scene.
Yeah.
And that's coming up.
It is.
It's coming up. They're gearing for it now. So we want to congratulate West Hollywood for actually helping set a standard in Los Angeles, help bringing people together. And just, you guys really learn about your cities because they have such great history, such rich history. And I didn't even know this history that West Hollywood had. Really interesting.
All the sheriff patrol cars have the pride flag on them.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see that a lot
That's
with
the only...
the police cars having the rainbow flag on their cars,
They have
on the
the
patrol
flag
cars.
on the car.
That's awesome. And that's your Wiglet of the Week. Just a little fun fact. If you are abroad and want to come on our show to discuss experiences with food, culture, beauty, and travel, please email us at abroadproductions@gmail.com. You can also find more information about our show on our website at abroadproductions.com. Follow us on Instagram at Queen ShanShan, our Facebook fan page, which is Abroad Productions, and Twitter, which is at _broad_prod, spelled PROD. And if you also want to be on the show, email us as well at abroadproductions@gmail. Michael.
Shannon,
I love you.
I love you more. We got to go play poker and cut it
We
up,
have to go
honey.
play poker.
Yeah.
We got to get Michelle to get our poker game on. I thank you so much for being
You're
on
welcome.
my show
I
tonight.
had so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being real and transparent and letting us know the BTS of Weho,
Yeah.
the expectations of people
Do I
who...
need to tan? Am I that transparent?
Which,
I'm usually so white you could see through me. No, of course.
we love you, and you've always been a good friend to me. You've always been a great supporter, and I really appreciate you. You and your boyfriend listen to my show, and you chime in, and you say, "Oh, I really like that episode." And so I really appreciate that, Mike.
You're
It's
welcome.
really-
I'm so proud of what you guys have done.
Thank you.
3 seasons. That's amazing.
And just
You guys have-
FYI, Mike was on our show a few months ago. He wasn't really on our show. He was actually my BTS, and he was helping Edward get the sound right and help us, tap into a tighter sound. And you enjoyed that too, Edward, huh?
Yeah, I did. Thank you. It changed things.
It did change things. So thank you, Mike, so much for coming here. You had a good time?
Thank you.
I had a great time. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was awesome.
it's great
for
getting
sure.
to know you on the mic instead of being like, no, do this and do that.
Thanks, guys. I
Yeah.
had a great time.
And good luck with your new career. Well, not your new career. Good luck with your growing career.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make sure you guys come and eat.
Yes.
Oh, we like to eat.
Absolutely.
Come on, Downey.
So anyways, as we close, we want to say thank you again, Broads, for listening. As always, I am Queen ShanShan, and thank you for listening to Abroad.